You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, it's Zoom the TBT, and we are excited to really get into the grind of the new TBT cycle. And I've got some really great guests. I've got Josh Nzeakor, the power forward and center, and Jeremie Hart, the head coach of Run DFW. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Good,
Doing
good.
good. Doing good.
Great. So, Josh, I was talking to you before we started taping, and you're actually a TBT veteran. So this is your third team playing for this. You played for Purple Hearts, played for some other teams. This is your 10th time with DFW. What made you choose to run DFW again?
Just them being the hometown team, and Braden and Jake have been trying to organize this team before last year, the first year being in it for at least 6 years. So it's always been a dream of theirs that they told me about from the beginning. So once they finally got it on the road, I was like, yo, I'll be glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's interesting to see these teams that represent a region. I mean, I've been to Dallas. It's a wonderful city, a world-class city in all ways, beautiful architecture, Fort Worth. I'm an architect, so I love the city. Some great stuff. Now, unlike Josh, who's been here multiple times, Coach Hart, you're a TBT virgin. How are you approaching this as your first dance with TBT for the $1 million?
I mean, I'm approaching it like I approach anything else that I do in my life, to take it serious and be professional. Try to represent my city, represent my family, represent these players in the best way possible. So,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, representing Dallas has got to be a certain pride. We all have our hometowns and we hold them close to heart. So, I mean, representing them on the court's got to be a big, big thing. Josh, a lot of people still don't understand TBT. It's in its 12th season, and it's still something that's developing a brand. It moved from ESPN to Fox last year. It's becoming more and more of a staple of the basketball of the summer, one of the big events of the summer. What's the incentive for players like you to play this event? Is it the notoriety? Is it the money, the networking, all of the above? Like, why do players continue to come back to this event?
I think first of all, getting to play with guys that you've known for a long time is fun. You know, getting around your friends, and it's better doing something when y'all are all doing it together. A lot of us don't get the chance to play on the same team, you know, in our whole career. I probably played on the same team as one person I know from high school my whole pro career. So we don't get the opportunity. And then two, obviously it's $1 million on the line. So that's a big chance to it's a life-changing amount of money if you get it once, and we can help a lot of people out. And for us specifically, we're really just trying to represent our city and show that Dallas has a lot of talent, and we've had a lot of talent for a long time. We kind of feel like we've been slept on, but I think we're starting to get the notoriety that we deserve. But just trying to represent the city and show what we could do.
It's funny you mentioned the notoriety of the city, Josh, because like it's always a sort of thing with basketball is you recruit guards from the Northeast, you recruit bigs from the South, obviously. So I've always thought that bigs like yourself, the power forward centers, always get maximum respect from the South. I mean, the guys who always come up big through the South always get that. So how do you feel being from Dallas has shaped your game in that respect, being a big?
One thing about being from Dallas, I feel like the Dallas game is kind of people usually say it's a little bit flashy. So most people from Dallas, the bigs we have a better handle than a big from the north. We can do a little bit more. And I think that Texas is also a fundamentalist state when it comes to basketball. We learn the fundamentals from an early age as far as passing, shooting. So I think a lot of bigs from Texas, Dallas specifically, have a more well-rounded game that you would see.
Yeah. And one last question for Josh to Coach Hart. Steak or brisket, since we're talking about I don't know how this is in my head right now, but
I'm going with brisket. I got to go with brisket.
Brisket. Okay. I'm a vegetarian. I always ask that question, and I always, I'm from Memphis, so it's pork barbecue. I mean, I haven't had meat in 10 years. I miss it. I miss the smell. Coach Hart, steak or brisket to you? We'll get back to you for a minute.
brisket.
Brisket. Okay, and that's the
sure.
correct answer from Texas, right? I'm asking a stupid question, correct? That's the answer. Okay.
Nah, it's all good.
It's all good. Also good. So speaking of that, like Coach Hart, coaching out of Dallas, like what is the mindset of a player coming out of Dallas? Like what makes a Dallas player unique, and what makes them unique both as players and someone you're going to be coaching? Like what's the mindset of a Dallas player? from the coach's standpoint?
I think the guys that come out of our city are tough, competitive. They're winners. The guys that play the right way, guys that have been taught to play the right way. I think our guys that come out of Dallas are also are well prepared, because there's so much talent in our city that you really can't hide from other good players. You're going to play against other good players every day, whether it's pickup, whether it's AAU, whether it's pro runs, whatever it is. You're going to play against other good players. So, you have no choice to get better when you're playing in those type of environments.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all these different cities have a different brand or flavor of basketball. It's always interesting to see the regional differences and what that means as players, obviously. Now, Coach Hart, we were talking before we start taping. You're currently an assistant coach at SMU under Andy Enfield, Dunk City fame. A lot of people enter this because it really does also help furnish their coaching things. A lot of people have gotten actually head coaching jobs out of this. Grant Leonard became a head coach partially because of experience with this. Lots of people have gotten coaching promotions out of this. How much extra development? Obviously, again, you're a head coach or you're an assistant coach at a high-level ACC team. So I'm not saying you don't have incredible experience. You obviously do. But is this one more thing to help you develop as a head coach, maybe for that next job down the line?
No doubt, for sure, it is. Anytime you have a chance to be a head coach in a setting where you can lead a group of guys and lead a team in a setting like this, I think is important for me to be able to get those reps. Because that's the most important thing when you're trying to become a head coach at some point in your career. The more reps you get, the better off you'll be. A lot of guys get thrown in the fire to head coaching jobs, and they're not prepared. And it's not their fault, but sometimes you're not prepared because you haven't had the reps. So I think this is good for me to get reps as a head coach and learn on the fly in this position and get a little taste of kind of what my boss go through and have some fun with it. I've been in a few different roles since I've gotten in Division One. I started off as a GA at Kansas State, where I was responsible for player development and working with our better players. A year later, I was an assistant coach, director of player development at New Mexico State. And this year, I'm the recruiting coordinator / assistant at SMU. So I've been in 3 different titles so far. Obviously now I'm in ACC at the high major level. So just trying to continue to learn and continue to grow and continue to develop as a coach and a communicator and help these guys, in this tournament.
Josh, obviously you played before the advent of NIL. Are you trying to send money back, or are you asking Coach Hart for some NIL? Is there anything you want to endorse?
No, I don't really got nothing. Just I think the TBT is a great opportunity as a player also just to help further your brand even as a pro. Every player has a brand nowadays. So if you can get on a team that makes it further down into the tournament on TV, you never know what type of people you can inspire, fans you could pick up. So hopefully so, man.
Definitely. Now you're talking about obviously what it means for the career. Now you were telling me you played last year in Kosovo. What's it like playing overseas? A lot of people, and this is a huge axe I have to grind about people misunderstanding the quality of basketball. There's 30 NBA teams. There's 15 spots. There's 450 jobs. There's only that many jobs. There's incredible players around the world. So what's it like playing in Eastern Europe? What's different than playing at home?
So for me, I got to get a pretty good taste of. I went from the NBA G League last year to Kosovo, so the contrast was really big. It was a big difference. It was a hard culture shift getting there. But once I got there, I realized that their style of basketball is a little bit more fundamental. It's pretty physical. It was faster than I thought it was going to be. And there was actually, like you said, it's a lot of good players out there, good Americans. There's good local players that they have out there, and it's very competitive, especially with the new system that allows teams to move up to, Champions League, FIBA Europe Cup. every night you go out there counts from the beginning of the season. I know, like in NBA and the G League, the first half of the season might be taken less seriously, and the second half it kind of ramps up. But in Europe, once you get there from the first game, you're playing for standings, you're playing for cups, mid-season cups, end of the season cups. So every game is really competitive and really physical.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. I mean, it's also I assume they have a lot of more practices than the sort of American leagues because I think they play fewer games. There's more
Oh yeah.
practices, correct?
Oh yeah, a lot more practices. Usually, most teams in Europe will play 1 to 2 games a week, but you're usually going to be practicing twice a day, 5 days out the week. So that's also a big adjustment compared to America practicing once a day.
Yeah, not shoot arounds. You real hard bang
Yes.
practices with
Yeah.
you're basically hitting each other. Yeah.
I will say that Europe is kind of shifting more towards the American style as far as practice. As sports science advances, they start learning different things, and a lot of coaches are kind of going away from the 2 practices a day. So I got kind of lucky this season. I had a coach that was kind of going away from that, so it wasn't as bad for me. But a lot of guys I know still are in that grind. So
I can't imagine because I don't have a physical job. I have a job where I draw things, obviously. I can't imagine having you guys' jobs, but I can't imagine getting the best out of someone like, hey, I'm going to work you to the bone to the point you're exhausted twice a day. Now go out there and
Yeah.
have fun on Friday and play a loose game. That's not going to happen.
yeah,
It's never made sense to me. Like there's a limit to physicality.
yeah, it's tough. But
Yeah.
like I said, I think a lot of them are kind of learning that now. So I hope it becomes a new trend to go back to the 1 practice and get your skill work after if you want to before. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah. So Coach Hart, 2-day practices for training camp, right? That's what you're going to do?
Not in that sense. What we're probably gonna do, we'll probably get together in the morning, work out, 30 minutes, 40 minutes max, come back and later that evening and practice for an hour or so just to, build some camaraderie, chemistry, maybe watch some film if we're able to on the team that we're playing, stuff like that, but it won't be too taxing at all.
Yeah, it's obviously you don't want to burn your players. Are you guys going to have a training camp, Coach Hart? Is that in the plans now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where's it going to be? Where and when?
It's going to be at SMU. We're probably going to start around July 9th to about the 16th.
Okay.
Somewhere up in there, and get on the flight or the charter and go to Wichita and go win some games.
Now this is you just said charter. You guys can fly in charter.
Sneaking things
Well,
in.
I'm saying charter and get on the plane.
Okay, yeah, that's it. You're used to flying charter. I'm about to say I thought you guys were flying Delta or Southwest. I mean, if you guys are flying charter, eventually you guys don't have funding problems at all.
No. I'm just so used to saying charter. Obviously, I work at SMU, and that's how we travel.
About to say, I thought you guys were flying Delta. I didn't think you guys were flying charter.
My bad.
No, it's not your bad. I thought I heard a TV team with actual big pockets all of a sudden. I was confused. That would be a first. That's crazy. This is a question for. I know, right? Like that would be great, right? I mean, Wichita's not that big a state too. It's not a big state, so you probably have like a little charter test. I go, no. So this is for either Josh or Jeremie, either one of you guys. How is the recruiting going? Like, how's the team coming together? Who's more comfortable speaking about the team composition?
I'll let
I
Coach.
can speak up. I can speak on it. It's coming together pretty good. I think we got. We're on the right track. I can say that with the guys that that we're going after, that I'm talking to, got some pretty good commitments already. Just trying to round it out the best as possible. I think if a couple of guys that I'm talking to commit, I think we'll be one of the most talented teams in the TBT for sure. But either way, I think we'll still be one of the most talented teams in the TBT. We'll have a talented team for sure.
Definitely. It's interesting too with these things because obviously it's always a late breaking thing, and we always start our cycle. We're taping this May 15th. I don't know. I'll probably release the next couple of days. Might be the middle of May when it's released. I'll release a few of them in a row. But it's interesting to see because the cycle always changes really fast because it's a summer event, it's a tournament base. So everybody's adding teams late. So at time of taping, the website shows with one player, it's actually a booster. So Josh isn't even on the website yet. Not a big deal. It's May. This event's in July, so the things come and go. But Coach Hart, do you guys have like how many guys do you have signed so far, roughly? Not I should say tiers, a rough idea.
Roughly about 6.
Okay,
maybe
that's a good start.
close
Yeah.
to 7. Yeah.
Okay, so 7. Okay. Josh, are you helping strong arm your friends and teammates into this? Are you twisting arms?
Hey, I'm trying my best. I've been putting the word out and trying to see which guys are finishing up and which guys are going to be available. So yeah, definitely trying to get some guys together.
Now it's a big time commitment too, because I mean the European season is longer than the American season with all the practice and everything. So you guys are just finishing up now, really.
Oh, yeah.
And then you asking guys to give up a little bit of their summer is kind of a tough push. It's not that people don't want to play their event; they just need to rest their bye minutes. This is a little bit of a recruiting push sometimes, right?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. The few guys that I'm actually waiting on are guys that's really good. That's probably going to finish about June.
Okay.
So, just trying to let them finish and, continue to talk to them about what's going on with the team and what my plans are. And as they finish up, talk to them and see where they at. The good thing about that is I play professionally, so I know how it is. Once the season over, you get home and you spend time with your family. A couple of weeks go by, and things settle down, and it won't be long till you get the itch again. So I'm hoping that that's how I go with the guys that I'm talking to. Once they get that itch, they tell me that they're in.
Yeah, I can't imagine it will be hard to recruit once you have a most of the team together. If you already have 6, you got a great building block. The last 4 to 5 guys won't be hard to find, I'm thinking.
No doubt.
Coach Hart, how do you guys want to play? Like, what if we're going to watch? Because you didn't coach this team last year. What will a fan watching DFW expect? What can we expect as a ball watching public from this team?
You're going to see a team that's going to be tough. That's going to be competitive. They're going to play together, play fast, share the ball, be relentless, be able to handle adversity and be together. That's what you're going to see from Run DFW.
And Josh, I assume the thing you forgot to mention is he's also going to get you the ball 20 touches in the post game, right? Is that something you didn't mention?
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming.
I always find this event crazy because the bigs ask to do so much, and it's funny because like a lot of tournament ball, the guards are up and down, and the bigs are like asking for the ball, and they just get looked off a lot. So like, how do you see this team working inside out or outside in? You think with the roster you already have?
I mean,
go ahead, Josh.
Oh, the main thing with us, I feel like would be an advantage is we know each other. So a lot of times there are some teams, especially now, that they kind of get together a couple days before and guys are still learning each other's games. So they may not know where to get a certain guy the ball, or they may not trust this guy to make a shot. But I feel like once that stuff is already established beforehand and we know what each other can do, that ball moves a lot easier. And, we're less hesitant to get the ball to the hot hand. Yeah, we know what to do. We know who's on the court with us.
That's a good answer. Yeah, having friendships and relationships off the court really helps you, and even on the court from earlier playing days has a great way of making it work. It's obviously people play over the summer with their friends, people they know, so that has a natural chemistry to play around with it. I'm looking at the region right now. There's 5 teams in. There's probably a few to come. Aftershocks, Austin Zone, Fire Family, No Excuses, and you guys. So, Coach Hart, you mentioned watching tape for teams. It's a little difficult because since this is an event as opposed to a league, it's tough to find tape. So how do you break that down? Do you find like tape on the individual players and talk tendencies? Do you try to find teams the other coaches worked with? Like, how do you scout the unscoutable for an event like this?
That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to prepare, personnel base more than, team base is going to be personnel. A lot of those guys is going to be playing on either of those teams that will play. We'll be able to watch them and scout them and watch film on them and collect their tendencies and things that they like to do and put together a game plan to try to take those things away. And just to piggyback off what Josh said, I think the guys that I'm putting together it has a lot to do with talent, but it has more so to do with the professionalism and character as well. Because I'm just taking an approach, what we do in recruiting at SMU, and I think if you get the right type of guys that's about the right things, like Josh said, then when they're playing together and someone has a hot hand, the guy that they're playing with is easier to realize that and to take a step back, because I know this guy got my back and he's got a hot hand and he's got it going, rather than a guy that's, kind of for himself, that's more talented, but, less team oriented.
Definitely, definitely. Now, Josh, you are a TBT vet. I believe you played in Wichita twice, correct?
Played Wichita once, my first year.
What's your record in Wichita TBT?
0-1, 0-1 right now. Yep.
Oh, okay. So we got to fix that, right? We gotta beat the corn shucking guys, right?
Oh yeah, gotta get a dub.
Yeah, I can't. The Shockers is a great name. It's just a corn-based name. I love it. Got to get the win here. Okay, I'm the last question, I guess, to Coach Hart. Coach Hart, what a lot of the teams that aren't alumni based like yours, that are region based or cause or something, have to try to tell their narrative of why people should root for them. Because obviously, you know damn well basketball has their home fans. They also have neutral fans. They have people who will root for someone if there's a good story. So what's the story? Why should the neutrals? Why should people who don't know any better root for Run DFW and TBT?
Well, I haven't told this story yet, but I think I do want to get it out. Probably actually haven't got to tell Braden and Jake too much, but back in 2019, I believe, 2019, I was getting ready to retire from playing professionally. I was training kids in Dallas. I was still actively hooping, and my late great friend Andre Emmett, who was a superstar at Texas Tech, played in the NBA. He's arguably the greatest player to come out of Dallas, other than Chris Bosh and Kenyon Martin and those type of guys. But he was just just a tremendous basketball player, a tremendous person. He was killed in Dallas through gun violence. The last few conversations I had with Andre, we were trying to put together a Dallas TBT team with me playing at that time, and we actually had the team together. I actually spoke to Dan Farrell numerous occasions, putting the team together, and COVID hit, and none of the guys that we had wanted to travel to the bubble, when the TBT bubble, and Andre was killed also. So that kind of stopped me from doing it. I pursued my coaching career and player development career at that time, and kind of went. And then as a couple of years go by, Braden and Jake, they came to me, asking me to coach this team, and so for me, it's kind of like I'm finishing something for a late great friend, who means a lot to Dallas, Texas, and he's known around the world when it comes to basketball. All the kids that grow up from Dallas should know him, because he's one of the hardest workers that you would ever met.
Yeah, I mean, that's a name from the past. I've never heard that story anyway, and that's amazing. Andre Emmett was an amazing college player. In fact, I remember, I'm a Memphis Grizzlies fan. I remember when they traded for his rights on draft day, I was very excited because I really thought he was going to be a huge contributor. He was such a impactful player in college and such a great player. So I didn't know any of this. This is an amazing story.
Yeah,
That's a great reason.
And a lot of people, they saw Dre late in his career. He was 30, I don't know, 36, 37, and still playing. By that time, he had all the, a lot of money, fancy cars, and Dre was the type of guy, he likes nice things. So, people would see him, and they would see him with, nice jewelry and things like that. But a lot of young guys, they wouldn't know, you know, his work ethic was like second to none. He's probably, if not the hardest worker, one of the hardest workers that I've ever been around in my life. He works tremendously. He worked tremendously hard. He had a Kobe Bryant type of work ethic, and I'm not joking when I say that. And he's known around the world. I mean, everybody knows Andre. He would have played 9, 10 years in the NBA, if it wasn't for his, just his personality. Like he wouldn't take a back seat for the Miami Heat. He played with Dwayne Wade. I remember him telling me a story, that he was in training camp with the Miami Heat, and he shot a shot, and one of the coaches told him something about pass the ball to Dwayne Wade, and he was like, like shit, I can make that shot too, because he thought he was that good, and that's just who Dre was, that's just who he was. And, a couple years before he passed, he was dominating the big three, something that was right up his alley, because he's one of the best one-on-one players ever. And I don't mean to jump around, but that's kind of why, this means a lot to me, to be able to finish out something for a late great big brother. And I think he would be smiling to see Dallas coming together and bringing a team together and playing for this cause.
Well, I mean, that's one of the best answers I've ever gotten on why to root for a team. Andre Emmett was an incredible player. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing with us. That's incredible.
No problem.
That's where we're going to end it. I don't think we're going to top that. Josh Nzeakor, Jeremie Hart of Run DFW. Thanks a lot for joining Zoom the TBT, fellas.
No problem.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thanks for having us.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hater. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.